Hello, my name is Ron Bade. I am presently the Senior Analyst for Commonwealth Transportation Consultants, a highway safety consulting firm which provides services in the fields of accident reconstruction, forensic mapping, traffic studies, the extraction of electronic data from crashed vehicles, and DOT and OSHA training. I would like to discuss with you the 2009 Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices and how the changes it brings will impact local municipalities. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania adopted the MUTCD in 2004 pursuant to subsection A of section 212.2 of Title 67. This essentially thrust upon all municipalities the responsibility of complying with these requirements. Additionally, pursuant to subsection B, all changes to the MUTCD are automatically adopted by the Commonwealth unless a notice is published in the Pennsylvania Bulletin. A review of the Pennsylvania Bulletin reveals no such notice has been published. As such, the changes contained in the 2009 edition of the MUTCD have been adopted by the Commonwealth. The changes I am going to discuss pertain to signage. Historically, highway signs have been required to be manufactured with a certain level of nighttime visibility or retroreflectivity. However, there were no requirements in place regarding the ongoing condition of erected highway signs. Traditionally, once a stop sign, for example, is installed, it would remain in place until Bubba runs it over on his way home from an evening of overindulgence. The retroreflective properties of the sign materials could deteriorate to nothing, and there was no requirement for replacement. The 2009 MUTCD now requires all signs to be maintained at a certain level of retroreflectivity based upon the colors of the materials used. These requirements are not immediate, but are phased in over a number of years. The first deadline is January 22, 2012. By this date, each municipality must adopt a sign management plan. All regulatory, warning, and guide signs failing to meet the retroreflective requirements must be replaced by January 22, 2015. Finally, street name signs will have to meet the retroreflective requirements by January 22, 2018. In addition, street name sign lettering must change from all capital letters to the normal Gregg Manual capitalization standards of an initial capital letter followed by lowercase letters. The most pressing issue at hand is the adoption of the sign management system. Just as background, the retroreflectivity requirements are found in section 2A.08. Essentially, the requirements simply refer one to table 2A-3. The retroreflectivity requirements vary based upon sign type and material color. This rather cryptic table lists the minimum retroreflectivity levels of the various sheeting material colors. Without getting too technical, the colors react differently to the wavelength and angle of incidence of light hitting the material, which is why the levels are different. There are 4 methods available to comply with the requirements, which will serve as the basis of the chosen sign management system. The visual nighttime inspection. This must be performed by an individual at least 60 years of age and certified to perform such inspections. This is essentially a go, no-go inspection, meaning the sign will be deemed to be in compliance on the date of the inspection, with no assurance the sign will be in compliance 6 months later. This type of inspection provides no information useful to the responsible authority in the planning of future sign replacement. Additionally, the certified inspector will have to make notes of their inspection, suggesting another person will need to serve as a chauffeur. These notes will have to be retained and stored somewhere, and the frequency of these types of inspections is uncertain. As we have seen with the building inspectors now needed to comply with the new construction code, these certified sign inspectors are very likely to be scarce and pricey. The second method is the measured sign retroreflectivity. I will get back to this method of compliance as this is the focus of this presentation. Expected sign life. This requires a study on sign degradation over time in the affected geographic area. This study would require years of retroreflectivity measurements or nighttime observations by a trained individual over 60 years of age. At this time, I am unaware of any studies having been conducted to support this option. As such, selection of this method at this time is not an option. However, years from now, it may become more viable. The final method, blanket replacement. This entails systematic replacement of all signs at specific intervals based upon the expected sign life. This expected sign life is based upon the warranty issued by the manufacturer of the retroreflective material. As with all products we purchase, the warranty period will be years shorter than the actual life of the material. Let's assume the manufacturer of the retroreflective material warrants the material for 7 years. Just to keep the math simple, let's also assume it costs us $1,000 to replace all of the municipality's signs. If we replace all of the signs next year, then again in 7 more years, and again in 7 more years, we will have spent $3,000 for 21 years of sign life. If we know the signs actually last 10 years, we could have replaced the signs twice and gotten 20 years of sign life for only $2,000. Let's get back to the measured sign retroreflectivity. This must be performed with a device approved to perform such measurements. Prices for these devices start at over $10,000. Additionally, personnel time must be devoted to regular measurements. Most municipalities cannot afford to purchase such an instrument or provide the staffing to use it. Some municipalities have chosen this method as their sign management system, and they have chosen to contract with Commonwealth Transportation Consultants to perform this function for them. Commonwealth Transportation Consultants has devised a complete sign management system. We start with taking a photograph of the sign to be measured. This photograph will include a scale, which will allow us to calculate the size of the sign. This is important because the requirements vary with the size of the sign. Next, we will employ the Road Vista 922 retroreflectometer to measure the condition of the background and the legend. Simultaneously, the instrument will capture the latitude and longitude of the sign. Some municipalities use this GPS data to add their sign data to their geographical information systems. If you have such an interest, we can provide your data on compact disc. In addition to capturing the sign condition and GPS data, we will warehouse the data. We will upload the data to our website and provide each municipality with a username and password. With those, anyone authorized by the municipality will be able to log in and see the condition of each respective sign. What is missing from this slide is a column to the right, which will contain a link to the actual digital photograph of the corresponding sign. Our goal is to provide a 3-year measurement program. This will allow us to determine the rate of degradation of each sign. We will be able to project when signs will require replacement, allowing for budgetary planning. There will be no need to guess at what future costs will be, or to be surprised by unexpected expenses. During the 3-year program, we will measure every sign each year. If a subsequent 3-year program is put into place, it will not be necessary to measure every sign every year, since we will have projections on sign life. Those signs nearing the minimum levels will be monitored. This reduction in measurement activities will help us ensure there will be no increase in program costs, so no increase in costs to the taxpayer. Unfortunately, as much as we would like, we cannot provide this service for free. There are costs of doing business involved, which must be covered. For municipalities with 250 signs or fewer, our fee is $200 per quarter. We invoice in quarters because we are very aware municipalities do not start their fiscal year with all of their revenue in hand. They receive funds throughout the year, so we spread the costs of the program throughout the year. As you can see, the more signs a municipality is responsible for, the larger the fee. However, you will notice the relationship between the number of signs and the quarterly fee is not linear. The fee does not increase at an equal rate as the number of signs. This is because the cost of warehousing the data does not increase significantly as the data set increases. We are keeping the fee structure to the actual costs of these programs. We have no interest in earning the profit on the backs of the taxpayers. We are simply interested in helping the municipalities comply with the coming requirements. I know there are those out there saying, yeah, right, you're not making money. The fact is, we have other uses for the Road Vista 922, through which we do earn a profit. And those uses are not funded by the taxpayers. Please feel free to call with any questions you may have. No question is unimportant, and we would like those making these decisions to be fully informed. We have seen a number of municipal bodies make decisions which will ultimately cost them more money in the long term due to misconceptions held and a reluctance to ask what would have been a cost-saving question. Thank you for your interest in our sign management system, and we very much look forward to being of service.